Whatever stage you're at with your trading, it's important to stop and gain perspective before planning your next move. Take a break from the charts and join in the discussion with our hosts, Jason Graystone and Akil Stokes, as they share insights, opinions and expertise on all things trading. Grab a coffee, pull up a chair and join the Trader Coffee Break.
Well. Welcome back to another Trader Coffee Break. My name is Jason Graystone.
My name is Akil Stokes. Good to be back. It
is good to be back. And I don't think there's any technology issues just yet, so I'm gonna fingers crossed for that one. But good to be back. I had to get a week away in the sun. I'm sorry, but it's just horrendous here. It's like 6 degrees, freezing, horrible. So yeah, just had to get away in the sun for a bit.
Meanwhile, I've been stuck with the flu over the past week or so while you're away enjoying it. We've been getting waves of sickness, and it finally hit me.
Oh man!
So it's
I'm sorry to
kids.
hear that.
Yeah,
Kids,
blame the kids. They bring home everything, then everything gets on you. But that's part of the journey, I suppose.
Yeah, no, that's it. So it was kind of a last minute topic, but it's something that it's been coming up a lot. This idea of chase to get to some goal, something that they think, when I get there, everything is going to be solved. All the problems are going to be solved. And I was having a conversation with someone recently, and for those of you who kind of haven't guessed, today's episode is about mastering trading, and is that even possible, and what that really looks like, and what your realistic expectations should be along that journey. But I was having a conversation with someone, and we got into talking about, like, I love buying gear, all the different gear and tech and stuff like that, and I always have. And I was like, yeah, I'm all the gear, no idea. And I am, and I always will be, because I never want to, like, master something, because there's no fun in that. The fun is, like, tweaking and messing with it, and then getting the next bit and adding that on, and just messing about and playing. And that, to me, that's life. Like, that is living. And I referenced it to Lego. It's like, when you build Lego, once it's built, that's not the fun part. Like, that, you just put it on a shelf, it gathers dust, you never look at it ever again. The building the Lego is the best bit. And it's the same when you go, like, fishing. People, it's great catching the big fish, but it's really about being fishing. That's the experience that people like. It's not the end result. So the older I get, the more I've accepted that in more areas of life, I'm never really going to master anything, but I never really want to, because and this goes for everything, like piano, playing instruments, or your wealth, or getting enough money, or getting the body that you want. There's always, when you get to where you think you want to go, there'll be another step. And there's a saying, however good you get at something, remember this: there's going to be a 7-year-old Asian kid that does it better than you. And it's true, man.
Oh, no.
Those kids are, like, out of this world. I see one memorizing a deck of cards in 14 seconds the other day. And it's like, man, like, that's different level. I never want to be able to do that. I'm never going to be able to do that. But really, the point I make is there an end? And should you just enjoy the process, the puzzle? And I think with trading, this is really, really relevant, because people think, like, oh, when you became a profitable trader, like, that was an overnight thing where one day you wasn't profitable and the next day you was, and now my life's all like, great. Oh yeah, I cracked it. I I nailed it. I mean, what are your thoughts, Akil, on this? We get this all the time.
I am right with you, and there's so many different avenues we can take. One you brought up was wealth, and, like, kind of the good old saying is that, like, money doesn't buy you happiness. And I think everyone by now knows that is false, but also true to an extent, where it's like, when you're poor and you're struggling to pay rent and you can't eat what you want to eat because you got to buy McDonald's $1, I guess maybe $2 now, Happy Meals every day. Like, yeah, wealth can bring you a lot of happiness because now you don't have to have the burden of like paying your bills, getting kicked out of your apartment. You can eat better food, right? But once you get to a certain extent, once all those kind of basic needs are met, then it's like it doesn't make you as happy, or you have to find new ways for it to make you happy. And I think that's where you see a lot of successful people enjoy the journey, where it's not necessarily about I'm doing this to make even more money, as much money as possible, but I'm doing this because I'm in love with the chase of whatever they're chasing. And maybe that chase is, hey, I want to have a bigger return on investment, or I want my business to do better. But it's not actually the number, the money. It's the carrot that's in front of us that we're chasing. And I was speaking to an athlete that I coached the other day who, she's a freshman and she's a really good hurdler. So she has to run at full speed and jump over things, which is the craziest event out there. And I was giving her a checklist. I'm like, hey, these are the things we eventually need to work on, A, B, C, and D. But as soon as you get better at one of them, there's going to be something else that we have to add on to it. And she's excited about it because she's addicted to getting better. And once she fears of reaching perfection, then like once you reach the mountaintop, all you can do is go backwards. And I think the interesting thing about trading is, and we've experienced this, is the cool thing about trading is that there is no mastery, right? Because markets are always changing. There's always something new. You can always use something old in a new way. It is literally a puzzle that we come in and we try to solve every day. But we can't actually do it. But that's the same thing that makes us want to try even harder at discovering the new piece or the new way to go about it. And it's just, I think so many people look at, when you say stuff like, you're not shooting for mastery, they look at that as a negative, but it's just the reality. It's just the reality of the world we live in. And I think once you embrace it and you embrace that journey, you start to see some really cool results because of that.
I would even go further and say success is actually enjoying that journey, because if you're on a journey that you're enjoying, you are successful. Someone asked me the other day about what my big aspirations and goals were, and I said, look, man, right now I don't have any, because I've just, my life now, I love my life, I love the way that I live, and if I could just do that now until the rest of my days, that's amazing. And I also want there to be challenges, and I also want there to be hard times and good times, because without all of that, you just don't appreciate anything. And if you can learn to love that process, that is success. You're deliberately working towards something that you want to do. And if you can just enjoy that, all the good stuff comes. Because when you get to a place, like, let's take your body, for instance, you get to a where you think that you want to go, there's always going to be a next level. There's always going to be, oh, I'm not quite happy with this. Oh, now I've got wrinkles. Now I've got, and especially as you get older, you start seeing, oh, my hair's going, my wrinkles are coming. And where does it end? Like, where does that end? And it's the same with, if you've got developed a skill, like, you could, I never want to consider myself a master of anything. I just don't think that's possible, because there's always, whether you're a great artist or a drawing, in 10 years time, you'll look back at your drawings 10 years ago and probably cringe a little bit. And the same as 10 years from then, you'll look back 10 years and cringe a little bit, even though to someone, you're a master, you're incredible. And I always talk about this kind of, there's freezing cold and there's boiling hot, but it's very subjective. Along that line, someone defines cold differently. Someone defines warm differently. So looking up to me, to some people, I'm rich. To Jeff Bezos, I'm a peasant, right? And to a working class person, a person in a third world country might consider them rich, right? And someone who's dying, who's got a terminal illness, might consider someone in a third world country as rich because they've got life. And it goes on. And I that's kind of a dark example, but that's what I'm getting at. There's always someone to look up to, and there's always somewhere where you've been that people look up to. So it's really, really subjective. So just enjoying the whole journey is so important. And the reason is, sorry, Akil, go on.
Honestly, I think that goes what you said with motivation too. One of my biggest fears is settling, is reaching the peak of the mountain, and like you said, like that's it. What do I do now? And if you reach the peak, you have nothing to do but go down. And what you said about like, hey, I'll always notice something on my body or something is this like that is the motivation to go to the gym, right? Where it's like, man, I wish, my traps were a little bit more defined. That's the little kick in the rear that says, okay, go to the gym and do something. And that same thing, that hunt to just always find something new is what separates the successful people from the non-successful people, because successful people are always moving in that direction. Now, like I said, that carrot is always extending further and further, but at least you're always moving towards the quote unquote finish line instead of settling. And you start to see that gap open up where it's like, oh, I'm content, I'm happy, versus I'm working towards something, no matter how small that something is. I think that's massive. And, I love what you said as well about, enjoying life. And we had a moment this morning in our live trading room. We got caught up, we both get easily distracted by stuff. We started looking at the RSI, and like it turned into some analysis of a chart, and we started building a strategy, like just like that in the live room this morning. And the feeling that I had of like creating this strategy, okay, let's find our first step. Let's find our first our stop loss. Like, it was just like, I was energized. I felt warm inside. And then like you felt alive, and you realize like that is the feeling that you want to have. Like I never want to get to the day where I'm trading and I'm just like I feel like it's a job. Like I want to wake up every day and feel excited. I want to be like, man, I can't wait to close down the live room, pop open a book and research, or I can't wait to hop on the charts later after I'm done spending time with the family and like take some notes. Like when you want to do the stuff that other people don't want to do, like that is a very good sign that you're working in the right direction. And like I said, you should want to have that feeling in all aspects of your life.
Yeah. And that when you're on that journey, of course, there's going to be milestones that you want to hit and tick off, but it's just enjoying those milestones and then looking forward to the next milestone. And you appreciate that it's never ending. So you just mentioned about being on a mountain, right? The only thing to go back is back. But when you're on the mountain, you don't really appreciate the mountain. All you appreciate is the other mountains around you because they look amazing. So now you're like, oh, that one, I want to go up that one, right? That looks amazing. And you take the photos of the other mountains, right? So there's a lot to be said to that in terms of expectation. In trading, people expect there to be this day that you cross where you go, now I'm a profitable trader. Now that's it. I've completed it. I can promise you now that doesn't happen. And I can promise you that it is when you've generated consistent profits over a decent amount of time, 6, 12 months, and you feel a little bit more confident, because that's probably all you're going to feel, a tiny little bit more confident. And then the next year goes by and you feel a little bit more confident, and so on and so on and so on. And it's never like you never feel 100% confident. What I do feel confident in is my ability to perform good technical analysis and be right more than I'm wrong. And that comes from continuously journaling and optimizing and making sure that you look back at what you've done for the last quarter or 6 months and 12 months and make sure that you're adapting when you need to and things like that. But again, that is a process that I do because I love it. And whenever you find people that love something, they genuinely get the results because they're not focused on getting the result. It's focused on the process over the outcome. And that is something that, Akil, you've said for years and years and years, process over outcome. You work with track and field, you coach track and field, and you're under pressure to get performance out of people there and get people trading well. And there's so many correlations there. Do you see it play out in athletics as well? Do people ever go, I just want to be, the ones that don't do so well and maybe go off and do other things, are they the ones that want to get to the end result quickly, or like, what do you see there?
Yeah. You see it a lot where it's process based, and it's always funny. We look at the best races or competitions that our people tend to have is when we coach them the least and when they think the least. So like, if they're out there and they're overthinking and worried about, we go through this every year where it's like, I got to hit this mark or I got to hit this time. And they're like result. And then it just adds all this pressure to them. And then they end up not getting the result. And then that adds even more pressure. And we always see it kind of snowball throughout the year. And it's every year like clockwork. We got to tell them, it's like, look, man, like just like we've been doing all the right things at practice. Like we've been collecting all the right data. Like just go out there and run. Like go out there, just go out there and do it. Like don't think about it. Who cares? And I'll literally tell them like, I don't care like what the time is. Like just run. Just do it the right way. Follow the plan. And they do it. And all of a sudden they hit their best mark ever. And they're like, oh, that was awesome. What did I do different? I'm like, you just did what you were supposed to do. You stopped thinking, you stopped overthinking. So yeah, it's exactly the same. And there's no need to put that pressure on you. That process over outcome thing is real. And like you said, over time, when you become successful, again, you never master anything. Like I'm a perfect example of what you said. Like I was profitable for a year and I still was afraid to call myself like consistently profitable because I'm like,
you never feel like it, do you?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't think I really am. But I was confident in my ability to avoid the dumb stuff. And then eventually you realize like, hey, when you follow through on all the work that you put in beforehand, the result will be there. Yeah. And I think you talk to any great trader out there, any good, successful trader out there, they'll tell you that, they're just focused on doing things the correct way and doing more of the right things, less of the bad things. And the results come, they are what they are and they come because we ultimately don't have any control like over a trade by trade basis or a day by day basis what the market does. But we do know the longer term results should be in our favor if we're doing things correctly.
Exactly. Marginal gains, a bit better every day. And the compound effect of that is astronomical. You'll be so much better after 12 months. You'll be unrecognizable if you just focus on just a bit better each day. So having said all that then, I think that it is important to define what your goal looks like and what success looks like as a trader for you. So that you don't face any kind of demotivation or depression or anything like that, it is wise to consider what would be success. When are you a successful trader? Is it when you can consistently generate above break-even profits for 6 months? Is it when you are pulling in an income on a monthly basis? Or is it when you've been trading for a year and you've got a certain percentage return? What does it look like? Is it just that you've followed the plan for a certain amount of time? And all of those little goals, those little milestones, you set down as levels of success. So when you hit one, I'm a level 1 success. Number 2, I'm a level 2 success. And you're a successful trader, right? But don't have this pie in the sky idea that one day you're going to feel like you're a master, because that never comes. I'm considered an expert when I get asked to go and speak on stage, but I get up on the stage and I think, I'm not an expert. These people, I'm not an expert. These people are, there's people in this room that know more than me about this. And you just never feel. I was reading Dave Grohl's book on holiday from the Foo Fighters, and he's like one of the best drummers ever. Yeah. He was in Nirvana and Foo Fighters, and he's like, I never had a drum lesson. Like, I don't even feel like I'm a drummer. I don't even feel like a professional drummer because I just taught myself the drums on my pillows. And that'll never go away. Like, there's never a moment in time where he will go, I'm the best drummer. Like, I'm a master of drummer, because you just don't. And it's the same in trading. Dark Crime Story says, have you watched the show Billions, which is about hedge funds and inside trading? You've watched that, haven't you, Kil?
Yeah, I don't think I watched the last season. I watched the first 2, which I always love shows like that. They need more shows of. I I haven't looked for in a while, but when I first got into trading, it used to be a whole bunch of like trading documentaries and stuff like that. They had the Wall Street Warriors. They had the one with
Millions by the minute or something.
yeah. The show, it was like reality shows off trading. I get we're a niche field, but I always enjoyed that because again it showed you the reality. But I watched Billions. It was kind of cool because it's trader talk and it's stuff you makes you feel special. Like understand that word. But
Yeah.
good show.
I never watched it, but everyone tells me I should watch it, so I will one day.
It's interesting. It's not. I mean, it is what it is. Let's put it that way. It's not nothing you're going to miss if you don't watch, but it's a fun watch. I love what you said about the confidence thing, and because I think it's important. Even I think a lot of traders or people define success by mastery, and because they haven't mastered trading, which means they took a losing trade once in a million trades, right? They never see themselves as a master, and then they never have the confidence to call themselves successful. And I think you do have to find that level. You have to be willing to say, hey, I am not a master. I will never be a master. And I think that's out of respect to the game. But you also have to be, like I said, when you have those goals and have those check marks, you achieve them, you do have to be able to call yourself successful at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for confidence because in life, in many businesses, but specifically in trading, right? If you don't have that confidence that, hey, like I know what I'm doing or I know what I'm supposed to do, you're going to get eaten alive in the market by all the doubts and fears. Because even to this day, and I'm sure I speak for you as well, Jason, we'll take trades and like we'll set up a setup and we'll be like, is that really a flag pattern? Like, is that really a triangle? But like, we're experienced enough. We can go back to our rules, our notes, look at it and be like, okay, yeah, it is. It's a sloppy one, but it meets the rules and I'm supposed to take it. But if you don't have that confidence, that's when you start missing setups, bailing on setups. We had one yesterday where price action was creeping down towards my stop loss while I'm in the live room. And like, I'm literally giving this speech about trailing stops and profits where it's like hovering like 5 pips above. And it's like, if you don't have the confidence to know that, hey, like my stop is under this level of structure, that's the level it's supposed to be there. If the market takes it, it takes it. I'm wrong. You're going to start making these mistakes. So I think there is that line where, yes, you're floating between, hey, I am successful. I know what I'm doing, but I can always know more. And I'm always trying to get better because that, I know in my journey personally, it took me a long time to be able to say that I was a successful trader. And as soon as I started saying it, I did the whole Tony Robbins in the mirror affirmations things. As soon as I started saying it, like to myself and to my friends and to my family, I started having a lot more confidence on the chart as well, because I was no longer like afraid of what people would think. So I think it's that delicate balance of finding both.
Really good. Really, really good. I think, I suppose the way that I'd like to just kind of finish this chat is just giving you like an example of why it might be troublesome to have this idea that there's mastery. Okay. So on holiday on Friday afternoon, I was in a setup on the dollar yen. I'm still in one on the Aussie dollar, but I was in one on the dollar yen, and my rules say that I should pull out of the trade if it's going into the weekend, this particular trade that I was in. And I pulled out of it about 2 p.m., right? Because I wanted to go and have dinner and stuff. And I got some profit out of it, but it wasn't what I could have got out of it. Does that now make me not a master? Does that now make me not a professional trader, not a good trader, right? So imagine this. When would you be a master? Let's say that you got every trade correct and you had 100% strike rate, but you only won 3 pips on every trade or 2 pips on every trade. Would that make you a master? Right? And that maybe $100 a year you was getting or something like that, right? Even though you had 100% success rate. Right. Let's just say, okay, well, no, that wouldn't make me successful. What would make me successful is 100% strike rate and 50% a year. Okay, 100% strike rate and 50% a year. Great. There you have it. You're doing that now. But guess what? You go into your lifestyle and you go, do you know what? I want a new car and a new house and do this and do that and do that. And now you can't afford to live from your trading. So now are you a master? Or do you need to become a better master? So it never ends. It's all relative to where you're at now and where you want to be. And the best thing you can do is just enjoy every day of it. And I promise you, if you do that, the results will come. You'll have the best success. So, yeah, I think that's a great topic. It's something I've been really thinking about a lot this year. I just felt like we went into 2024 and everyone's chasing, but they don't know what they're chasing. And I just want to slow down. Like I've really slowed down going into this year because I just want to focus on a few things rather than chasing everything, all the scattiness, the AI and all the kind of all the madness that's going on, right? I just want to focus on a few things that I love. And I encourage you to do the same and see where you are 12 months from now. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Akil, you got anything else to add?
That is really sound advice. Really love this topic. It's good to slow down and focus, especially as the world around us kind of speeds up and attention spans get less and less, and there's information spit at us from every which direction, and some of it's real, some of it's fake, and it's like it's getting tough out here, man. If you're not grounded, like I feel bad for I don't feel bad for our kids because we're going to teach them the right way, but I feel bad for people our kids' age because just the fire hose of information and content that is being spit at them, and their ability to decipher and understand and judge themselves and evaluate themselves properly. It's a lot more difficult than, and we're not old, but it's a lot more difficult than we were doing it, where it's a lot easier to kind of understand where you're at and what this means and what that means. So
we just knew that it took time as well to get a result, whereas now you're not used to that concept. You just don't expect things to take time. I was listening to like a Michael Jackson song the other day, and it had like a 1 minute intro.
They'd never get past it. They'd never
1 minute now.
they'd never know. They'd never know. I'll try to show my kids something on YouTube the other day, some educational thing about art. He loves art. And the guy was talking about, this is the proper setup. You need these materials and blah, blah. He's like, can we just get to the drawing? I'm like, well, this is the important stuff. Like, he's showing you the tools you need. He's like, but I want to see the drawing. He's trying to skip ahead. I'm like, those are battles we got to fight where we didn't have a choice. There was no skip ahead button. You just had to watch it.
Yeah. Oh, man. Such a good topic. I really love it. And guys, if you got value from this, please let us know in the comments and let us know what topic you want us to discuss next week. And until then,
one more thing.
Care. Have a great rest of your day. See you then.
Thanks for joining us for the Trader Coffee Break. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to never miss a live discussion. Follow our hosts on social media. And remember, do nothing to gain perspective.